Good morning, good morning! You know, Chairman, I don't like when you shake your head after I blow the whistle like that, you know.
You're getting progressively better. Slow progress has been made.
You know, thanks for your encouragement. Good morning, everybody that's tuned in here. Tuned in from one of our family of islands. Welcome to the longest running cultural show in the Bahamas that talks everything culture, but especially highlighting Junkanoo. Welcome to Junkanoo 242. Whether you're tuned in from one of our far-flung gems in the world, one of those family of islands, I wonder what y'all eating this morning. What you think they got in the bowl?
Boy, look at it. Got some Brazilian tea
That's a staple. That's a staple.
To start with, right?
Yeah.
Then you probably eating, boy, some stew fish.
Stew fish.
Boiled
This snapper or grouper? Because I don't know.
And grouper boss.
Grouper.
Yeah. Not that other thing. Grouper. Real grouper.
Not no rockfish or nothing.
You ever had a stew turbot? I like stew turbot, boy.
You know what?
I love stew turbot. Stew turbot.
Whether you're tuned in and you're eating pancakes and eggs because you're somewhere in the United States.
Oh, in the United States. Oh.
You know, we are.
No pancake right.
No. We happy to have you with us. Bedford, how you doing in there, man?
Good morning. I'm good, man. How you know?
We trying to figure out what you had on your plate this morning, Bedford, because this man trying to give you stew turbot.
Anyway, stew turbot is good. See, you already know. Just like he didn't know what chicken foot was.
No, man, I had no stew turbot yet. I got to talk to Mom about that, see if she ever stew any turbot around here.
Big man. Hey, where you from? He ain't had stew turbot.
That's a young fella, man.
Yeah,
I do.
I gotta check.
He may want to tilapia, man. I don't know.
No, man. We definitely
want tilapia,
we
man.
Trying to eat that fried stew and nothing, no way. We ain't want that, man. We got two special here. But a special good morning to everybody that's tuning in to us. But of course, you know, we have another exciting show that's lined up for you. But before we go any further, what we're going to do is we're going to get you started with our prayer.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, for the gift of life, we give you thanks. For our nation, we pray for peace, prosperity, principle, recovery, and restoration. For ourselves, we pray for wisdom to use your gifts wisely, especially the gift of Junkanoo, so that we may honor you, serve your people, build better communities, a better Bahamas, and indeed a better world. Amen.
Amen. Proud to be Bahamian.
You know, I'll end something around heaven. You know, she'll say, give it to me straight.
Yeah, like,
give it to me straight. What you got this week, man?
Well, we got a special good morning to Mr. Carey from Commonwealth Bank on East Bay Street.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying a special thank you for your excellent work, Mr. Carey, and thank you for listening. All right, but any special events popped out for me this week? No, I had nothing except, oh yes, I saw some I think some graduations are now starting to take place. I saw I think the National Youth Guard is having some type of either graduation or preparation for graduation, and I'm like, oh, that program we started to develop, and now we're starting to see the graduation of these people make that final progress, and I think that is exciting as to what's happening in that arena.
Talking about graduations, I saw something in the newspaper this week as well. I think it was the first group of graduates in AI from the University of Bahamas.
Wow.
I thought that was a very, 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 very good step.
Yeah.
To the world.
Yeah, because I mean, what's happening now is being ready for what's coming.
Yeah.
You know, and preparing the people for it. That is truly exciting.
Yeah.
You know, hope they keep it up. Prepare more people for what's happening in the technological field.
Technological.
But also in the digital world, as more things go more digital for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, that's us. What we got?
Junkanoo season starting, boss.
You think y'all ready? Because I mean, June next week.
Yeah. We can see there, but what's going on?
We you know what?
We can see next week. We ready.
We ready.
My shade that face.
Pasty, and I tell the people you was in here last week because you was pasting your pants, you know.
Well, you may be surprised to know what I already got facing, boss.
For Labor Day?
Right, but Labor Day.
Man, for the big parade, man.
The big dance, man. Look out.
Not down in Boston.
Ronald, that's all I can say to you, my friend. Oh, ye of little faith.
You got done. get back, we will formally introduce our topic for this morning and our special guest. We'll be right back. You're tuning to Junkanoo 242. From the Junkanoo archives on the Junkanoo timeline, the year was 1990.
1990.
That Boxing Day, with no prior warning of what was to come, the Valley Boys, in their depiction of a celebration of freedom, presented costumes that had styrofoam heads, carved in amazing likeness of freedom fighters like Samoa Butler and Mahatma Gandhi. The impact of the introduction of styrofoam to our parades is being felt to this day. Another significant moment on the Junkanoo timeline.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Whistle Blow. We are lined up and we're ready for this segment of our show. This is the rollover. And why are you laughing?
No, I'm not finished. Then I'll see what I have to say. Go ahead.
This morning we are expecting a very, very special guest who is on his way, delayed.
I understand he's on the police escort. That's what I understand. The gang's all here.
Man, stop.
That's what I understand. He's coming.
He is coming, and we want to know what's going on. There are wars and rumors of wars in various in various pockets of the Junkanoo community. And as you know, let me say this right at the very beginning. Junkanoo 242 is a show for Junkanoo. It is for every single Junkanoo. If you feel there is a topic that you want to discuss, if there's something your group wants to get out to the general public, we are your vehicle. We do not belong to any single Junkanoo organization, even though the three of us are from one Junkanoo organization. Of course, Ronald Sims is from another, but the purpose of this show, when we started in 1998, was to give Junkanoo a voice, period. And so we welcome every side of every story. And we are looking forward this morning to our very special guest so that we can get some details on some things that are happening in the Junkanoo community. We don't intend to take sides. It ain't our business. If it's an internal matter, whatever it is, but we give voice to every Junkanoo who has something to say and who would wish to make it public. So that's where we are. And when our guest arrives, you will understand why I said what I said.
So why is it important to give, quote unquote, use your term, voice?
Yeah.
Why is that important?
I don't think, well, it's not as far reaching now as it used to be. But I do believe that still we have a ways to go in terms of the place of Junkanoo and by extension culture in our community. I don't think we understand that. We tend to think of culture as what we dance on Bay Street, what we put on a stage, what we perform. Culture is everything that we do. And
how we do.
Right. And we are losing certain traditional aspects of Bahamian culture at what for me is an alarming rate. And we've seen some changes in Junkanoo that we have highlighted here over the years. Once we get public and we talk about it, it keeps Junkanoo in the forefront of the public eye. And that is what we try to do here, to keep everybody on board with the understanding as to how important Junkanoo is to who we is.
Well, I hear all of that, but as a 20-year-old, right, all of these old traditions and all these old ways that y'all espouse or talk about,
right,
don't make a difference to me,
right,
because that's what y'all used to do. So for me, as a 20-year-old, that those things don't matter.
Right.
They're not relevant to me.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
My quick answer is knowledge is power. Everybody born in the Bahamas after 1948 knows, that's all on us virtually, knows Junkanoo to be a parade and a competition only. That's the problem. Knowledge is power. You start to educate people. That's why we're doing all this talking every Saturday morning. You start to let people know the deeper meaning behind Junkanoo and why we do what we do. And hopefully at some point it will filter through. But also my second answer to your question is we, those of us who are teachers, who are in Junkanoo, it's time to get cracking. And it's time for us to put a program together that doesn't just encourage the children to perform, parade, and compete, but that teaches them while they're having the time of their lives.
But to add to that too, why it's so important that that 20-year-old know about those practices and quote unquote the traditions, because that's the foundation as to what his family, what his foundation is built on. That's how he got here. And if you don't understand your history, sometimes you're running in a circle and you're wondering why you can't make progress. It's because you don't understand the value as to what you have in that foundation that can propel you forward. You're busy relaying the same foundation that you have. And so by Arlene saying, by educating them of that history, of these practices, of these unique traditions that we have, you're setting yourself apart. So guess what? You don't have to go looking for these unique things any longer. You have them.
That's why we
now you just got to use them.
Yeah. That's why we take the time to prepare the Junkanoo timeline, the Junkanoo library, examples of excellence, because we're talking to current Junkanoos, but we are keeping the proud history of Junkanoo right up front.
Listen to me. I'm 20. Your history.
You want to be 20.
No. Your history.
Yeah.
Is not. It is my history, but if I don't know it well enough, I will not practice.
That's exactly why we're still talking.
You know, because my history for me may only start. You use a year 1948 and get back to that, right? My history may start in my mind.
Yeah. When you
30 years later.
Right.
So to speak.
Right.
So that is my reference. That is my reference point. Not.
Right.
1948. Now, tell the listeners why you use 1948 as a reference point.
Because there were riots in 1942, the Burma Road riot, and the government wanted to ensure that that kind of damage and uprising did not recur. And so the government banned street parading from 1942. And so there was no Junkanoo on Bay Street from 42 to 47. And Chippy always said firsthand that the Junkanoo continued in Grantstown. Right. They were rushing anyway, right, in the African townships. And then in
you had to get us? That's what it does. You know, like, you realize. No, I'm
being very strategic.
No, he's doing it so that I can explain all of this.
Right. Because as a 20-year-old, that's what we say.
Yes. We are changing our language.
It's disrespectful to me.
Yes. Words like inner city, terms like inner city and words like ghetto, we have adopted from the United States.
Incorrectly so.
Out of context.
And unfortunately so.
Exactly. When you read the history of the Bahamas, specifically what was happening in New Providence, the town of Nassau went from the harbor. We are the 11th largest island, but we became the capital because we got the best harbor. So the northern boundary is the harbor. The western boundary is West Street. West Street went straight out through what is now the Point and Margaritaville. The eastern boundary was East Street. East Street still goes out to the water. The southern boundary was the Hill Street, right up on the top of the hill. And when Governor Fitzwilliam Plunk Government House In the middle of the Hill Street, it became East Hill Street and West Hill Street. Around the town of Old Nassau grew up the African settlements. In the old days, they were referred to as the suburbs. And so in settled by proud Africans. The Grantstown and Baintown gave birth to the Quiet Revolution in 1967. Proud. So you're talking so many things because we're talking today's world where at the click of your mouse, you could bring the whole world
to you.
And so we pick up all these terms that do not apply to us. And your language is very important.
That's your mindset.
It's inexcusable to me that some people, I won't call no names, some people who profess to want to do the best for these communities, calling them inner city and ghetto. You got to change your language.
And your perspective.
If you are in a classroom and you dividing the children into groups, once you say this group is the butterflies over here and this group is the buzzards.
Nobody will be in the buzzard.
When the teacher called the buzzard's name, who she put in that group, everybody know we got a problem over here.
A big problem.
Your language is critical, and you start to redefine situations when you change your language.
Goes right back to culture again.
Okay.
How we see ourselves, how we speak about ourselves, and how we act.
That's right. That's right. And so that is what this show tries to do, to uplift, inform, inspire, all those big words.
So, what in today's dispensation is the culture of Junkanoo?
What you mean?
Let me tell you what I mean.
Tell me.
30 years ago, the culture of Junkanoo in my mind was not the culture of Junkanoo that we had today.
Right.
Right? In my mind, I think our culture, the Junkanoo culture then was more in a way divided because we had more, there was more tribalism than unity in my mind.
Yeah.
Right? Because once you were affiliated with this group, that was you.
Mm-hmm.
Till death do us part, most
identity.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we identified as this.
A lot of times based on where you live, though.
Based on where you live.
Community, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't, so we were, I would say more insular, for lack of a better term at this point, more insular.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I'm just using this one instance, right? Now, the culture of Junkanoo isn't so much like that because it appears to be a lot more fluid. Rather, I am from this quote unquote group. Back in the days, gangs, you know,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So you get a difference in the languages, right? Language, right?
We changed it, you know.
Yeah, it's gangs.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's groups and organizations
Right.
and this and that and the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we interact is totally different than what we used to do.
And
so the culture, and even in that respect, that's
Yes.
just one part of it,
Yes.
has changed.
Yeah. And I would venture to say that knowledge is at the root of that shift, because I no disrespect. I believe
Never.
I believe, and I may be wrong, I believe that there were persons involved in Junkanoo who didn't know nothing beyond the parade and the competition, and that is what they encouraged.
How has that served us?
I think, as you said, it has been very divisive. I think on the positive side, it has pushed perhaps the music, but definitely the costume, to new heights. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm sure. But the competition has spurred on in many quarters an insistence on excellence. But I always, when I talk about Junkanoo, when I do my presentation on culture, I always say, don't throw no rock or bottle at me, but we have reduced it to a parade and a competition. It is a spirit. Junkanoo stems from the spirit of survival, the determination to survive in the most horrendous circumstances known to man. It is a celebration of who he is, and we missing the celebration because we too busy trying to beat the other groups. And so this is why I say knowledge is power, and what we do here is so important.
When would you say, if it's fair to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did that if it's fair to ask,
Mm-hmm.
did that transition happen from what Junkanoo was practiced as, or
Yeah.
what it was supposed to be,
Yeah.
and to what it is now with this highly divisive competition? When would you say? I think this is a marker we probably should research, right?
I
Did
think
that happen?
my response would be very partial and very biased,
Yes, Sarah.
because I think a lot of the change started with one family in
Okay.
1993.
Help me to understand that.
Jackson. It's as important to win on East Street as it is
On
on
Bay
Bay
Street.
Street, and the language that he used and the camaraderie that he encouraged. He is one person, but I think, and this is my personal experience, he had a tremendous impact, I think, on the direction that Junkanoo would take. And so, but that's only one thread. It's a whole, we could examine it to see when it started to change and the other components of it as well.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're going to go to our next break. I see the police are here. The sirens are blaring. And our guest came to the studio under armed guard. See you on the other side of the break.
Stop lying.
From the Junkanoo Library, filed under T for tissue paper. Before crepe paper took over our parades in the late 1950s, tissue paper was the main medium of costuming. Imported in limited colors, red, white, and blue. Imported in limited colors. Red, white, and blue were the main colors on the parades, and the softness of the paper did not allow for the intricate designs of today's Junkanoo. That's true. The greatest drawback of the tissue paper was that it was so flammable. Catch a fire.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Many desperate Junkanoo jumped overboard at Prince George Dock to put out a drum fire that had lit up their costumes. Our Junkanoo constant
Man
D-R-A-M-A
overboard.
drama.
That's all I can hear. Man overboard.
Talking about hot stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Junkanoo 242, the whistle blow. We are lined up, and now it is time for our first lap. And this morning, we were waiting patiently, and our patience has been rewarded. We are very, very pleased to welcome Mr. Trevor Davis
Yes.
from the Valley Boys.
Yes, the Valley Boys.
From the Valley Boys. And of course...
From the where?
From
I start now.
No, she's so... Where's my tamarind switch?
Go ahead.
First of all, let me thank you guys for the invite, and let me first apologize to you guys and to your listeners. Had a little emergency, it caused me to run a little late, but nevertheless, I'm here.
Yes.
And I'm here to just share the greatness of the Valley Boys
There you
organization.
go. There you go. It's a pleasure to have you, and we are glad to have you here. So now let's get right to the meat of the matter, because we are hearing all kinds of things about what is happening in the Valley Boys. We are seeing releases here and there on the on social media. I personally am kind of in the dark. I'm baffled. I don't know what is happening. So let's take it from the very beginning. Please tell us what is happening. What's happening?
So what is happening, again, the Valley Boys Junkanoo organization is taking the lead as the pace setters.
Mm-hmm.
We have since registered the organization as NPO, and which means that, once you're a registered organization, that calls for a lot of things to be added to your organization. Um, and when I say things to be added, it calls for a lot of things to be changed.
Yeah.
It's that time to evolve and take Junkanoo to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are we going through now,
Mm-hmm.
and what we are presenting to the country right now is something that, if not done already, a lot of other Junkanoo groups are going to fall in short order.
So help me here, and I'm not being mischievous, but help me here. When you say you all are the pace setters and other Junkanoo groups who shall remain nameless have been registered for a long, long time, I don't quite understand. I don't understand that.
Well, based on my knowledge, I can only speak based on what I know. Can't speak on what I don't know.
Okay.
We are registered at the Registrar General Office as a non-profit organization.
Uh-huh.
And if there's any other group that's registered, that's fine.
Okay.
And they could come and they could say if they are.
Absolutely.
Yes, but so based on our new registration as a non-profit organization,
Yes.
we intend to operate in those matters. Now, if there's any other Junkanoo group,
Yeah.
like I say, you did say earlier that this is open forum, people come and voice their opinion.
Absolutely.
So I only could speak on that, but I
Yes.
know, and I think that once people have said this, because once you know the Valley Boys and you know the Valley Boys name, you know we're going to be the first in a lot of things.
Gotcha.
And so nothing has changed today.
Like we said with the styrofoam a couple of minutes ago.
I want to go back a bit. How did we end up here? How did we end up in a conversation like this, right? Regarding a group that has, for the most part, I guess for a very long time, had one, I don't want to say king, one leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
For such a long time. How did we end up right here in this position?
I don't know if I should be answering the question, or the person you're talking to should answer it. But I said they're not here, I guess I could answer it. And that's what is so wrong with so much things in life. On the way here, I heard Arlene talk about the culture and whence it came. But for me, Junkanoo is a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Junkanoo is a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And the Junkanoos, I think, when they started this Junkanoo on the Boxing Day, was an expression of we are free.
Mm-hmm.
We could liberate ourselves, we could enjoy ourselves.
Amen.
And when you have a situation when any individual or any group feel that they could dominate for such a long time and give people that freedom to express themselves, whether it's by voting, whether it's by sitting down and listening to them, or through any means, you now start to take away the freedom and you start to bring more of the dictatorship and to remind me of when the slave masters used to rule us. And sometimes we have to take a check and balance and say, no, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be able to speak as one voice. We have to be able to listen, more importantly, as a leader. And so to your question, how we get here, maybe the people are not listening to the masses.
Okay.
So historically now, of course, we all know, historically, the Valley Boys has had one leader, and that was Mr. Winston Gus Cooper.
Yes.
And if I may just slide this in, I can't resist. The Valley Boys was formed when he was still a student at St. John's College.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, got to throw that in there.
Yeah. But even though we had one leader, there's still, and I think this is where the misconception of Junkanoo lies.
Mm-hmm.
This is where, and take nothing from Gus Cooper's legacy,
No.
but no one man is Junkanoo. Junkanoo is greater than all of us together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the misconception over the years and it trickled down and start to play with the mindset of people that, yes, there's one leader. But the one leader didn't go to Bay Street by himself.
Right.
That one leader had a team
Right.
and had 1,000 grassroots behind it
Right.
every morning.
Right.
What was so unfortunate, and I say this without fair contradiction, that we didn't have a succession plan after that.
Ah, yes. The transition after his passing never happened.
Never happened.
Right. That's what I see from the outside looking
yes,
in.
and so with that, we still feel that yes, there was one leader at that time, but that doesn't mean that there are not other players involved in getting this great organization and being creative and causing us to have the success we would have prior to Winston Gust's departure from Earth. Because now, when you don't have that proper succession plan, you find yourself in the situation that you're in now. And the situation is that you're not sitting down and listening to the members.
So how would you define, right, the current culture isn't the word I want to use, but the challenges now that you are facing, that the Valley Boys are currently facing? What would you say that looks like? What is it?
Well,
Because I may be an outsider to
Yes,
Junkanoo, and I
and-
don't fully understand
Yes.
what it is that's happening.
yeah, so what is really happening is that it's no secret because Junkanoo is public knowledge. Y'all talk about it every week.
Right.
Valley Boys hasn't been able to muster itself and get itself back to what we used to be. And everybody know that there couldn't have been 2, 3, 4 parades without the Valley being on top. Everybody know the Valley Boys is always the group that will bring you that wow factor. And so it's evident it's showing. And I think it's showing because
We up to about 6 now, without a win.
I stopped
Because
counting.
the Saxons had 2, then one family had 2, then the Saxons had 2 again.
Yeah. And
At
so,
least 6.
And so with all of this happening and you're still not listening, you start to have the quiet revolution starting from the inside. And the revolution normally starts from the back line, you know, and every year, this is nothing that just came about this year. This was happening for a while, slowly and quietly, in the back line. And it fostered itself and it keeps fostering itself. And like any other business or any home, when there's a problem, you stop, deal with the problem, you know, and you try and iron out the problems and you work it out and you move on. When you leave stuff to fester for so long, this is the end result. And, you know, I was on a talk show the other day and I'm so, again, proud to even say, not because I'm here with you guys, but I said it without you guys being there in my presence, that when you look at a journalist organization like One Family, 20 plus years.
31.
And
31, right?
Yeah,
31.
And 8, y'all on your 8 championship?
8, yeah.
Yeah.
And so again, no
Octavius,
wonder,
good morning, Octavius.
and so no wonder why, look at your record over the last 20 parades.
Yeah.
We've been strong.
Now, in just to make a general comment,
Yeah.
I think Junkanoo groups that were formed more recently have more of the flexibility to do something different, if you see what I'm saying. Roots started in 1991 when they broke off from the Valley Boys. They decided not to have an ultimate leader. They had 4 leaders.
Yes.
So they started the ball rolling in a different direction, and then along comes One Family 2 years later that did something completely revolutionary and decided that a steering team made up of coordinators of each section would be the leader of the group. The chairman is really only the chairman of the steering team. Absolutely revolutionary, but I think I just wanted to say that, you know, when you have a group that's around from 58 or 65 or whatever, I think it's harder to adjust to a more modern concept of leadership. What you think? You don't agree with me?
It shouldn't be harder. Remember now, the Valley Boys are the pace setters in Junkanoo. And we have to get
I can let you come in. There's no propaganda.
listen.
I let you come in. There's no propaganda.
No, Trevor, let him know.
It's not against truth.
Don't come in. No propaganda.
Get him.
Let me just say this. because like Darren said earlier, he's 20 years old. So
Yeah.
you know, in his mind, he might say, "What gives me the privilege or the authority to be here speaking on behalf of the Valley Boys?"
Yeah, tell us
So
how
let me
that.
just tell you
yeah.
how this
Yeah,
came about.
that's fair. Go
Yes,
ahead with it. Run with
yes.
that
Please,
one.
Go right ahead. And you at home
This
now,
year-
don't mind the grifting.
This year would make 45 years of me going to Bay Street.
Is that right?
Yes.
Excellent.
45 years. My first introduction to Junkanoo was in 1979 as a little boy. I took my bicycle horn. I buy some crepe paper from Champion Sports Line.
Out of
I
here.
pay some funds. And I found my way on Bay Street behind the Valley Boys
Let's
blowing
go.
my bicycle horn.
There
Yeah.
you go.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
must
What
say-
bicycle on from Western Auto?
Let's go.
No, LNS.
LNS. I got mine from
Road.
Western Auto.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so my sister, "You really, really into this Junkanoo?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, anyway, the gentleman that works with me at Scotiabank by the name of Gould, he's a Valley boy. I'm going to ask him to take you into Junkanoo."
Even
Nice.
good. Yeah.
And the very next parade would have been the next year, 1980. Peter Gould religiously every Saturday morning stop and pick me up and took me
Nice.
into the shack.
Nice.
And I must say, I think Darren was on the parade that year too, eh, Darren?
Yeah.
1980.
Yeah, I was there.
And so I didn't know him personally, but I looked at him from a distance. But I
Yeah.
remember walking in the Junkanoo shack, and it was such amazement that when I first see the lights of August Cooper, and you know, everybody at that time thought Gould was my father, and you walk into the Shaolin Temple and we amongst all these greats of the greats.
Mhm.
So I had the experience to pace along some of the greatest Junkanoos in the history of Junkanoo, whether in the Valley Boys, I pace against the ones at the Saxon and the guys at that time.
Mhm.
And then I quickly move up the ranks because I remember the first year I was what we call a little naked dancer. I took the flag. And the next year I was in the line ringing bells. I remember going to Hyla and putting them big heavy bells.
Daddy Hyla. Yes,
and
a
put these-
legend.
Come Trevor, put these bells in your hand, and I would go to the sports center and I would ring bells. And by that first year of Junkanoo, I was in the bell line.
Mhm. I
And
bet you can't find them Daddy Hyla
no,
bells.
I can't find them.
Wow.
And shortly after that, I moved up the ladders. I remember pacing a dance called a dancer. We call it a dance back then. We still call it, we call it step down now. And I quickly moved up the ranks in the Valley Boys to the point where, and you spoke about the part when Roots broke off in '91.
That's right.
And so that gave me an opportunity. Because when my builder Goal was my builder at the time, and when he went into Roots, there was another young man, I must call his name Anthony Morley, that was looking for a home. And while he was looking for a home, I was looking for a builder. And we
Yes.
connected in
Very
1991.
gifted.
And to this day, persons who didn't know now, you know, I am the pacer along with Hannah Boy of the Champion of the People.
Samila Butler, 1990, right?
Hannah
91.
boy.
91, yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Very nice.
yeah, so, you know, for those 20-year-olds,
Yes.
youngsters,
Youngsters, yeah.
who know,
Who want to be in big people
yeah,
conversation.
who know the work and dedication I would have put into Junkanoo. And right after that, I think I took with the Quincentennial, I took Christopher Columbus,
92.
and there was several costumes, and I'm even proud, I could even say this, I was one of the guys who used to go 2 mornings.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that morning, 91 Darren, I think I slew all giants.
You kill them.
All.
Yeah, they win
back
that
then-
morning.
and
Oh.
the back then, I was in there as 2
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
They had about 9, Saxon had about 10.
Yeah.
One Roots had about, Roots who just came out. They
Big
had about
morning.
4.
Big morning.
Yeah. And so, and shortly after that, I would have leave to go off to school. But even in leaving to go off to school, I remember coming back and still contributing to the group and in different ways. But so, 20 years, I put in my time, and just want to put that out there.
Yes.
All right.
So Now, everybody on pins and needles now, right?
Mm-hmm.
My phone, Darren's phone blowing up, right?
Oh.
They said they couldn't hear you, so that's why I told you to step into the mic, but speak more closer to the mic. So now, according to, and this is all public knowledge because it's all over social media, according to what's happening on social media now, there's clearly a rift or differences of opinion in the Valley Boys, right? Correct me where I may be wrong, right? There is a side that you represent, right? I say a side, quote unquote, a side that you represent, referred to as the world famous, correct?
No.
You're the Valley Boys.
We all are the Valley Boys.
You all are the Valley Boys. But there are two sides with two different opinions, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Help us to understand what those two different opinions are.
Well, I think I alluded a little bit. The two different opinions.
Speak directly now, because people say, man, he's talking like a politician. Someone say he's talking like a politician. Asking the question, that's what they tell me just now.
They want to know.
It is like any other organization. You're gonna have your agreements and disagreement, but the fundamental thing is for an organization to operate within the accordance of its constitution.
True. Does the Valley Boys have a constitution?
The Valley Boys, yes. The NPO
Yes.
one that I represent, yes.
So the NPO that you represent has a constitution.
Yes.
What about the 65-year-old Valley Boys?
So hold on. We missing a step here. I just need to make the connection. So we are a group, and we have a chairman, and there must be some kind of administrative structure, secretary, whatever. And then what happens?
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
well,
you
well,
all
well,
decide
okay.
you need to
So-
change something. Tell us what happened.
So what happens is, you talk about the Constitution earlier.
Mhm.
The Constitution gives you the right to act within those constitutional laws and abide the Constitution.
True.
And I dare to say, if that was the case, I wouldn't have been here having a conversation with you. I would have been talking about something else. We were talking about the business of Junkanoo.
Yeah.
How can we evolve Junkanoo and make it a business? And so, if it is that there was a constitution, then we would have been having elections.
Yes.
If it is that we had a constitution,
Yeah.
there would have been accountability and transparency.
Gotcha.
If it is that we had a constitution, we probably would have been just like you guys or Roots or any other Junkanoo group, where you see change in chairmanships.
Okay.
And the thing for me is, when you're going to take the young me, I'll talk with myself, and I can talk with Darren because he's here. We've been on Bay Street from the age of 11 and 12.
Yeah. 10.
All right. When you're going to take us out of our parents' house and sometimes away from school to contribute to something that we love so much, at some point we have to have a voice.
I hear you. So what I am understanding, we are talking, I guess for want of a better word, we're talking structure and creating a structure that permits everybody to have a voice and to
Yes.
be involved, for want of a better word, administratively.
Yes, I mean, come on, man. Like the young gentleman said earlier, we're in 2024.
Yeah.
Why everybody can't have a voice? But you could ask me to participate. You could ask me to rush.
Yes.
You could ask me to take time for my family, for my loved ones, from anything else I do.
Yes.
At least the minimum you could do is allow me to have a voice. And that's
Gotcha.
all he's asking for.
So there is a groundswell that is pushing for a structure that permits everybody to have a voice and be involved, no matter how that may look.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely correct.
that's what you all are pushing for. That's what you want for your group.
Yes, and at the same time, still want to unify the group.
Of
Of
course.
course, I mean, like anything else, you're going to have people that agree and disagree for whatever reason, whether it's personal
Yes.
reasons or whatever reasons. We
Yes.
understand that.
Yes.
But we sure that at the end of the day, when the smoke is cleared, we want them to understand what the fight is for.
Yes.
And, rightfully so, let's line up as the Valley Boys.
I hear you.
But the Valley Boys that give everybody a voice and give everybody an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
We have to pave and make way and have succession plan for the 20-year-olds.
Yes. Yes.
And if
I
we
hear
sit
you.
down, we talk to the members, we listen to the members, then that will happen. This is, you're doing this of your free will. You just can't take things and push
Yeah.
things down people's throat.
Throat. Yeah.
Sit down and have a conversation. And again, we're still trying to sit down and have a conversation to this day.
Mm.
We have I wouldn't say exhaust all our avenues, because we still the way forward team, still waiting to sit down and see how best, even at this trying time, to bring some kind of resolution, bring the group back to, So as far as I'm concerned, and I know the persons that support the way forward, we are still trying to have that conversation
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
we could dissolve all this. Now, I don't want to say it's unfortunate that it had to come out to the public.
Yeah.
But I think it was necessary to come out to the public because there are other organizations facing the same thing. This is not just a Valley Boy thing. There are other organizations that's going through the same thing. There are probably other Junkanoo groups that go in the string and say, you know what, before we end up like that, like the Valley Boys, or let's try and fix it. Let's sit down and listen to our members and see how we can fix it.
Facebook, this ain't the first time a group split. Nothing new. You ain't really split per se. You trying to come together and trying to rectify what is happening internally.
Yes.
Yes, because in the past the Valley Boys split several times. There was Force, there was Roots, there was the Invaders. The 20-year-olds wouldn't know
the prodigal
about
sons.
all of it. The prodigal sons. Yeah. So this is nothing new in Junkanoo, and ain't nothing new for the Valley Boys.
Yeah.
But I'm not hearing from you that you are advocating a split per se. I'm hearing that you all want to fix, for want of a better way to put it, to fix some things in your group whilst we're staying together. That's what I'm hearing.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, and that's exactly the way forward. Committee members and everybody who's registered with the way forward, that's what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I born in the Valley where I don't know nothing else.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is let's fix what we have so the 20-year-olds could, when they come into it, they wouldn't come in where they see the Junkanoo group as the leader,
Yeah.
the chairman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody, this is for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's take that away. Let's take that, and that's what has been mucking up the cloud and the Junkanoo world for so long. Because when you start to phase these Junkanoo groups or these organizations, label it as one person, you're telling the youngster that's coming up that they wouldn't have a chance, and so they start to comprehend in their mindset already.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna never have a chance to be the chairman. I ain't gonna never have a chance to be the leader. So let's get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We have a question on Facebook that I want to read. We're going to our breakthrough. And so maybe we should hold that, or should we read the question and get the answer when we return?
Yeah, let's run to our break. Folks, you're tuning in the Junkanoo 242.
Phone numbers.
We have Mr. Trevor Davis in here from the Valley Boys, 325-5403, 325-5404, 325-5405. And from our family of islands, 1242-300-8255. When we get back, we're gonna jump back into this conversation. We have somebody that's also from Mr. Davis' team who's going to be joining this conversation live in the studio with us. We'll be right back. You're tuned in to Junkanoo 242.
Examples of excellence. A childhood interest in photography, a fascination with Junkanoo, and the result was a magnificent collection of photographs of the faces of Junkanoo over the years by the late Honorable Paul L. Adderley. His spectacular photographs looked beyond our costumes and caught the fleeting moods of this rite that for us is not a parade but a compulsion. The pride, exuberance, pain, exhaustion, joy, and the indescribable bliss that only Junkanoo can bring. Paul L. Adderley, renowned lawyer, politician, and Junkanoo pictorial historian, this week's posthumous inductee into the Junkanoo 242 Shack of Excellence.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You listen to Junkanoo 242. The E-Shack is wide open this morning.
And humming.
And humming, yeah. We're having a conversation with Trevor Davis and the Way Forward group or representation of the Valley Boys. I just want to say that
You
Yeah.
see what I tell you?
Pretty women come in
I
the
just
room.
try, you know.
No
I just
introduction,
try.
no nothing.
I just
You know,
try.
We've had the likes of Miss Aldika Cobra,
I
who has
try.
joined the conversation.
my grandmother and mother would not be pleased.
No!
Cobra. I sincerely apologize. I was just so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Overwhelmed.
I'll take it for
Like
you.
other people say, overwhelmed. My apologies, Miss Cobra.
No problem.
But I just want to say publicly that Junkanoo 242 isn't taking any sides. We are a show that gives every Junkanoo an opportunity to speak
Absolutely.
because we represent Junkanoos, right? So, full disclosure, we've also invited the opposing conversation, I guess, for next week's show. And following that, we also will have the JCNP in here as well, so that there's a full representation of all views. Okay? So, Mr. Davis, while we were on break, I got a phone call, and the question was, how is it that Mr. Davis can claim that he is the chairman of the Valley Boys? How did that come to be? How can you claim that? That was the question.
Well, obviously, the person who probably answered that question doesn't understand what an NPO is. And so let me just say that there. When you register an organization at the AG's office, which is the law of the land, it asks you for the members who are gonna, in the interim, who's gonna represent the organization. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
And you leave from there, and after you would have properly registered your company, your business, your name, whatever it is that you register in your group, that is stated on registration.
Okay.
You also walk away with a constitution,
Okay.
and the constitution also speak to registered members of the group. And you immediately begin starting to register members of the group. And once you would have had enough members registered in the group, you could then go into an election. Now, election could come in a way of saying, what we did, interim, where we have a steering committee until next year. So I'm just the interim chairman for now. Next year we go into a full-fledged election where we allow all members
To speak.
to
Or to
speak
vote.
and vote and have their voices. So in the interim, you have to have somebody
To steer the ship.
Yeah. And so for someone to ask that question, it kind of baffled me with why would how else the ship is going to run? The ship could run by the captain, or the ship could run by the captain and its mates collectively together. This ship is running by the captain and its mate collectively together until we get all parties back on board, and when all parties back on board, we go into full-fledged elections.
So, this is coming up, right? Picture this scenario, and maybe you've answered it, and if you've answered it, then please indulge the listeners, right? So we have this group called the Valley Boys, right? That's been operational for X amount of years, right? The Valley Boys, prior to where we're at now, had a chairman. Everybody knows who that person is, right? Then it came to a point where there was a challenge. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was a challenge to his chairmanship. Correct? Yes? No?
No, there was never a challenge.
There was never a challenge because people want to know now what happened to the old chairman and how is it that we have,
so basically,
or the Valley Boys have a new chairman, and then what's happening to your side of the story and the other side of the story.
So basically, they want to know how we got here.
How you got here
because obviously there was no constitution. If there was a constitution, then there would have been election of officers. And so because there was no constitution, because there was no NPO registration, it allows for this to happen again. Because if there was a constitution in place and you was having elections on a regular, and if you were to call election, if you were to won election, we would have supported you wholeheartedly. If you would sit down and hear the voices of your members, we would have been having a different conversation, like I said earlier. But when, for some reasons, we all are humans, and when we get in a position, we've been in a position for so long, it started to take from leadership to dictatorship.
And I want people to understand this just didn't start, because I'm reading the comments as well. Some
Facebook,
persons
right?
are saying, oh, well, y'all only saying the back line, you're only giving reference to the back line. Everybody has a say in what is going on. We have frontline members, we have builders, and I'm talking about persons who would have probably left the group years ago because they did not feel as though the Valley Boys was being run the way that they knew the group was being run before. Be running the group like a tuck shop.
So I can ask this question, because this is in the public domain. And I asked this of one of my friends the other day, right? I said, now, this is the conversation. I said, boss, I know you to be a Valley Boy, right? Which side of the fence you on, right? And this is how I asked him the question, not to be disrespectful to anybody, right? I said, I know there are two sides. There's conversation on social media about two sides of the Valley Boys, right? There's the way forward, and then there's some who purport to be the Gus Cooper Valley Boys, right? So he looked at me and he told me which side he's on, right? So how do you, because and I think that's why people are asking the question, okay, the body has a new chairman. How did this happen when, there still seems to be some gray area right there.
I can still answer that for you.
I don't, not to be disrespectful, but I'm asking the question.
Fine. And we said earlier, yes, there's some Gus Cooper Valley Boys, so you call them the Vincentites. But in all of Gus' greatness, there was one thing he left and departed the earth with not being able to do, which Monroe always speak about. Succession plan and passing the baton.
That's all.
And that's it. If there was a succession plan, and we as humans know when to pass the baton, it don't have to be which side you're on.
No.
And that is the divide.
Right.
That is, let me finish.
That's the issue you have.
That's the divide that dictators use. That's the divide that slave drivers use. Let's divide and conquer.
Manipulate.
I don't have, I don't believe in no division. And so when you mucky up the water, which side you on, or you take the time to put this one on this chat because they see you talking to the people who trying to explain the way that an organization
People who've been in the group for years.
Whoa.
Talking about a chat? Come on, man.
And so
Childish.
that's what causes the divide and the muckiness.
You must bring me here.
All right, so stop trying to divide and rule. Stop trying to pick favorites, because when you start to pick people and you start to use them as puppets, and you start to hand, I want you today, or no, tomorrow I don't want you. Why? Because we say we have a constitution, or we said we had a constitution, didn't abide by it, and you could be able to do that.
So someone asked me to also ask, right? Say, they want to know, whom do you represent?
Who do we represent?
That's the question. Whom do you represent?
We represent the Valley Boys organization.
Only one group.
It's only one group. It's only one Valley Boys.
It's only one group.
The only one group. Darren, I'm sure. Sorry.
That's all right, Ferguson.
My apologies.
No problem.
And the other Darren, and we even have Ronald Sims in there. All of us at the age where we would have our own personal business, or we would work for organizations.
True.
And we know the first and the most important thing is to register.
Indeed.
Your name.
You can't stop.
And when you fail to do the most important thing, to secure you and your members, you would have failed.
Okay.
So obviously, if you ain't looking out for me in the back here, because anybody, and we all know that foreigners come to the Bahamas and go to the Registrar General and they register the name, or anybody could go and walk up to the Registrar General and say, if this is available, and once it becomes available, they register it. Why is it after all these years you didn't secure the name for us? If you so love us,
Wow.
if you so care about us, do the basic thing that help builds a nation. And the basic thing is take care of the people that take care of you. The back line, the front line, the grassroots people of all these Junkanoo groups and all organizations. It's not no one man.
No.
Anybody want, oh, chairman. I'm not the chairman. I have a steering committee. I have the beautiful Dika on the side of me. It's not about me.
Friday, June the 1st. Right? We line up on Bay
Friday,
Street.
June the 7th.
When is Labor Day?
Friday,
Seventh. I think the first Friday
In June.
Yeah. So my bad. My apologies. Friday, June the 7th.
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
2 Fridays.
Right? We line up on Bay Street. I know where I lining up. Right? I line up. I can see one family out there. I can see the Saxons out there. I can see Roots out there. I can see a lot of B groups out there. As it relates to the Bali Boys, what am I expected to see? Am I expected to see 2 iterations of the Bali Boys, or am I expected to see one unified group? Inquiring minds want to know.
I know you will see the Valley Boys Junkanoo group on Bay Street. We are going to be there. Whoever else is out there is not our problem. We are focused on our group, our members who are intrigued and excited to be on Bay Street because it's time to go.
So I can ask this question. Who got the ace of spade in their hand?
The one who has the registration in there. Come on.
No, I'm asking you, Trevor, because you know why I'm asking? Because that is what people want to know.
Well,
If somebody else, I only know but one Valley Boys group. Whoever else is out there, I guess, trying to say that they are the Valley Boys. Yes, we are registered as the Valley Boys group, and we have the spade in hand. We ain't changing that. Nothing else changing. Ain't no other group getting made. So if those other people want to have their own, then that's fine.
So you're registered. So your authority comes from being registered as the Valley Boys
Yes.
Junkanoo group,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you're all right. That's your authority.
Yes.
But Mr. Davis just said, and maybe you have the people as well, because the people clearly drive the energy
That's
of the
it.
organization.
That's it. It's where
Right?
the people are. It's
So that's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
So right now you're registered as, and you have the people on your side.
Mhm.
That's why I asked, whom do you represent?
Yes.
All right.
The people.
My question from observing all of this is to you guys is obviously it's no intention to form another group.
No.
What I see the underlying overarching thing is you guys are calling for structure, proper administration,
Yes.
and some type of quote unquote, when I say structure, some type of plan of whereas the voices of the members can be heard
Heard.
through an election in a timely fashion. If I'm
Yes.
wrong, you guys can correct
No,
me.
you are very much correct. You are correct.
Okay, so my next question is this, and we alluded to it in the last comments in terms of, cool, you're calling for this structure, this administration, this transparency to happen. One of the things people are adamant about it, saying, do the masses want this to happen in your organization? And if they want it to happen, why hasn't they all agitated through it? Or is this the agitation now?
This the agitation now. A lot of people over the years have grumbled in corners. I remember after, let's say, the 2021, 2022. That's when we was back on the road, basically. And all of us were in this chat, and everybody was bickering from everything from the banner, go back, this wasn't right, that wasn't right. But nobody had the guts to say, listen, what we gonna do to move forward?
Yeah.
We can sit right here and just make noise, and then when the cowbell shake again, we line up to practice, and same old, same old. So just a few like-minded Valley Boys members, whether the old or young. I might be the baby with my little 21 years. But I mean, Ray Charles ain't had nothing on this to see through, this ain't making sense. We just keep on doing the same thing over and over, and you're still getting cut up. You're still getting cut up. So you got to do something. Actions speak louder than words. This ain't about the acting chairman. This ain't about the former chairman. This is about the people. What the people want.
Folks, we're running to our break. When we get back, we're going to pick up this conversation. We have the way forward from the Valley Boys in here, and you can chime in on this conversation if you want to call 325-5403, 325-5404, 325-5405. And from our family violence, 1242-300-8255. We'll be right back. And now for news off the Shack Wall. Happy birthday greetings goes to everyone who's celebrating their birthdays in the upcoming week. We wish you all a happy and a blessed new year. And I wish you all to eat cake. Lots of cake. Get well wishes is still in tune for Mr. Trey Farrington, the son of one family's past chairman, Christina Mussing Famanda, who continues to recover from a recent car accident. We also want to say go out and support the cookout for Henry. Henry Butler that's happening at this time. That's through the corner by Transfiguration Church off Market Street. I want to say remember also to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Junkanoo 242. Make sure you go there. You see all the past episodes and what's going on in the Junkanoo community. And it's Saturday, May 25th, 2024. We are 30 weeks away from Bay.
Next week it could be 29.
20, yeah, man. You shade face?
Long time.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, we got a phone call. Good morning, you're live.
Junkanoo Dogs.
Good morning.
It's Chief Stinking Goat Scat.
Yes, sir, Chief Stinking Goat Scat.
Good morning, Mr. Davis, and good morning, Tika.
Good morning.
Wonderful. My question is, listening to the JCN, the president of the JCN, or the leader, a few weeks ago, he said that in order to be a member of the JCN, which manages the parade himself, that MPO was not necessary. Is that so?
Well, that if you would have listened to my commentary the other day, I think I can answer that, but I'll answer it again. And that's a good question, to be honest with you. When you're not privy of something, you answer based on your knowledge. And I said the other day that I think this government and this minister is making the right steps and the right move to secure the taxpayers' funds. You would remember very well that the other day the one prodigal sons had to return funds. That's not the government funds, that's our funds. And now I spoke earlier about saying the Valley Boys are the pace setters, and everybody there's chuckling, which is fine. Again, this is something new. You're not going to be able to get the taxpayers' money. I wouldn't even say the government money, the taxpayers' money.
Oh my.
Unless you're properly registered. Because at the end of the day, you have to be accountable for the taxpayers' money. Now, this might have been something that slipped through the cracks and the holes and the pieces in the past. but I guarantee you, moving forward, you have to be accountable. And so I'm sure other Junkanoo groups, if not got the message, will be getting the message, and they will be moving forward to register as an NPO.
Okay, one more question. It seems as if, like your guests and everybody are here wondering, there appears to be two valley sections. Well, I understand that we are registered, so that's lawful, that's legal, and that's lawful. But it seems, again, like the JCNP have a problem with registering the way forward. Is that so? As a Junkanoo Valley Boys Junkanoo organization versus those other fellas across the road?
Well, to that, we must be fair to the JCNP. We have sent our registration form into them, and so we hoping in due course that they will reply to us. And we know they're going to reply to us favorably, because at the end of the day, the law of the land is what we are governed by. And we're setting the standard. We're setting the standard because we always talk about crime in our country and this in our country, but if we can't live by the basic laws and that govern the land, as even far as running a red light, which is considered crime, we have to stomp it out. Now, if you didn't know in the past, it's fine. But now you know. We forgive you. The past is the past. We're moving forward. We expect a favorable response from the JCNP and in the very near future.
Okay, thanks for taking my call.
This is going to be very interesting because, clearly a lot of people are excited to see the end of this, all right? And I think it's good that we are having this conversation. Next week we'll have the other side of the story, and then in the third week we'll then go to the JCNP. So, this is going to be a very interesting thing, and maybe it bodes well for democracy.
Yes.
Who knows,
yes.
right?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the people may have their say.
Yes, it's about the people. No, don't get no Adams and buts about that. It's about the people. And, any one of these persons, like I said, when you talk to them one-on-one, they understand, because everybody has a house to run, everybody has a business to run, and everybody at some point in time have to know that there has to be some accountability and some transparency in anything you do in life.
Okay, got one question, and we're going to go to this phone line. For clarity, can you list the names of the interim steering committee and their portfolio? Secondly, which I think Chief Stinking Goats can ask that question already. And then we'll go to our phone lines.
Well, for the interim, the acting chairman is Mr. Trevor Davis. Vice chairman is Mr. Jeff Monco. I am the acting secretary at this time, and Larry is our treasurer.
Okay. All right, let's go run to the phone lines. Good morning, hello.
Yes, a blessing. Good morning, gents. How are y'all today?
And ladies.
And ladies, sorry. Yeah, Rally Boys. Yeah, I think the leadership team, they're doing disservice on both sides. Disservice to the members, to the persons in the group. I mean, there's a saying, if the foundation isn't strong, the structure will not last forever. How easy it is for them. It's so easy to come together and just, when so this is rocket science, don't need to, to try to figure this out. This is sickening to the members. One, they say that, okay, there's Rally 1, they say Rally 2. We have to stop that trying to the distinction, I understand that Mr. Davis say that they have the registration, so if that's the way of the law, then the law of the land stands. So that's just my advice.
All right, thanks for calling in.
To respond to the caller, I don't want you all to feel as though we woke up one morning and said we just could do this. There have been conversations calling on senior Valley Boys members who have been there to start this group, and I don't want to go into calling names. But for the steering committee to approach these persons and say to them, can you call us all together and let's have a forum together, not separating anybody, just getting down to what the people want. If the people want an election, let's do that. There's no reason for no separation. I mean, I heard Mr. Davis talk about one family Junkanoo group, 8 Germans. Why we can't just sit down and get along? Why is it so hard for the administration to just bow? Let us all get on one line. If you want to go and run, you can run. That ain't nobody stopping you from doing that. But there was no under siege takeover. There was conversations that were had.
Folks, let's run to the phone lines. Good morning. Hello.
Hello?
Good morning. We can hear you. Go right ahead for us.
Yes, good morning. No, I only wanted to say, so Trevor, there will be aware, I am the past treasurer of the JCNB Dental role. I'm still a member of the sitting floor right now. In order for you to receive funds for Junkanoo from the government, you need to be registered as an NGO and have a PIN number and land revenue. Not necessarily be registered as a legal group. So all you do, register with inland revenue, get it in, and then the government will issue you funding for your group.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Danny.
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, we and to that, like I said, what happened in the past happened in the past. And not because it was that way in the past, no one challenged it, that means it was right, you know. We talking about getting it right. How Junkanoo is going to grow, how Junkanoo is going to evolve if we don't make the small things to get it right. Let's get it right. Yes, we did it in the past, but that don't mean let's get it right. Someone has to shine a light on it, and all we merely doing is shining a light on something that is wrong. Let's get together and get it right. Not because you do it in the past, that means it was the right way to do it. We didn't know. Now the scale is pulled back. Let's get it right.
Boy, we almost there. Trevor, is there anything that you want to say before we leave? We're almost done.
Yes, again, the message is clear. We calling for the unification of the Valley Boys. We have an online registration that's going on. We up to over, I think we close to 500 or maybe over 500 members. I showed you the membership card. And it's basic, simple things like that that hasn't been done for over, I can't remember the years where you get the members together and you afford them. Those great it is to walk around and you could pull out a card and say, I'm a card carrier member of the Valley Boys. These are the small things. And so we, in the registration process, we have practice every Thursday at the Center of the Park. The numbers growing and growing every week. And for those persons who still unsure or still waiting to see what's going to happen, it's only one Valley Boys. It's only one Valley Boys. And we're asking you to register. Once you can register with the Valley Boys, that means you are a Valley Boy. Come and pick up your card, and let's get ready for the Labor Day Parade, and let's get ready for the Boxing Day and New Year's Day Parade.
And ladies and gentlemen, on that very positive note, we thank you both for being here this morning. It was most enlightening and we can have you back. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us this morning. As always, it was a pleasure. I want to just end by saying a special good morning to Mr. Cordell Carey. No, I did not forget you. But thank you for listening. Such a fine, he's special, a fine gentleman. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end. Junkanoo 242 is all about you, wherever you are in the 242. And until next week, God willing, make sure now that you let everything, we let everything we all do prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that we are all proud to be Bahamian. We'll see you next week.